Whew, what a ride. Lifting, all the things. Just got out of the gym. I have to run. I have something to share, you know, my 2 cents that I usually do every week with you guys. But I have a call right at 8:30 that luckily I don't have to be on camera for, but because I got to run home and try to settle myself. So it's been a little bit of a hectic morning, even though it shouldn't have been, but I think I know why. So I'll talk to you guys soon. I just got off my call and I'm going to, I think, make something to eat or grab something to eat because I'm starving. And then I have to get to work, but we'll definitely catch up at some point today. I have so much on my list. You probably saw my daily planner, and there's just so much more that I have in my head that I have to do, that it's a little bit overwhelming, but that's okay. We're gonna tackle the next priority at one at a time. That's how we're gonna approach today. So I took a shower. I don't feel like putting clothes on today, or makeup for that matter, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab something to eat. I did start one thing though, and that is my budget. I sort of started pre-planning. So I just took a picture actually of my Petite budget book, and for December, because today is December 1st and I feel severely unprepared budget wise, but I feel like I'm getting a pretty good rhythm. It's no surprise, I've shared with you guys that I've struggled with my budget recently, but I feel like I have a good rhythm. I did make some changes and I'll let you guys know about that, but I'm pretty excited about some of these changes. I think it's just going to make a little bit more sense in my mind. And one thing about the budget that I would remind us of is that it's not going to be the same every month, and it might be the same for some people. It might not be the same for me at this current stage of life. I feel like it cannot be the same because my financial priorities are a little bit different and they shift quite a bit. So I think I just have to kind of take it one budget at a time, as opposed to creating this like blanket process for the budgeting. So one example of this would be clothing and makeup, for instance. Sure, I can have a sinking fund where I put some money aside for that, but right now I feel like I'm really good with clothing and makeup. I just did a huge haul for that, so I don't really need anything, and I feel like putting money away for that right now, it's not really a priority for me. There are other things that are more pressing to me that I want to tackle than that. So I think I'm gonna forego a sinking fund for clothing and makeup for a little while, and then I can always bring that back. So you can always adjust. I also just worked on our December calendar. This is our family calendar. Actually, I didn't just work on it. I worked on it last night, but I was just taking a picture for the reel for Instagram for today, and I really love how it turned out. I did go back to this board, which is the one that I have been using all year instead of using the Erin Condren one, because I'm still not quite sure how I feel about the clear one from EC. Mostly I didn't think that it would bother me that much, but because it is clear, the writing reflects back onto the wall, so it does make it, to me, feel a little bit more messy than it should, because it's supposed to be really sleek. So I kind of like the white background of this one, and I'm super excited for Saturday. It's our tree lighting, so I'm excited for that. So hopefully I can capture some video, and maybe I'll include it here as like a little bonus. And also very excited for this. We haven't been on a couples vacation in a long time, so I'm super excited for that. I just had a salad for lunch, which was a Caesar salad. And yeah, we're just gonna let the hair be in its largest form today. I really don't feel like doing anything with my hair or getting ready for that matter. So plus it's already 12 o'clock. So anyway, I just enjoyed a Caesar salad for lunch. Actually, it was a Caesar salad wrap that I made for lunch, which was really good. We've been having that for the past couple of days. And that's what happens when we have a ton of the same ingredients. We're sort of just kind of eat the same things, but it's really good. It's one of my favorites, and it makes for a really quick lunch. But that brings me to one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys earlier, which came to me during my workout this morning. It's been about 6 weeks since I started my personal training sessions, and that have been going really great. And really the reason for me starting the sessions is because I wanted to have more accountability, challenge myself more. It gets to a point when you start doing a lot of the classes, even though you're changing it around. Because I didn't have a specific focus, I feel like you do stall after a certain time frame, and I've been going consistently to the gym for over a year. Excuse me. So I felt that I was feeling a little bit at a standstill when it came to my next challenge. Obviously, I still enjoy the classes very much. They're definitely a great challenge. I burn a ton of calories, and most importantly, they help me with my mental health. So that's really the biggest draw. But I really wanted to take it to a step further. I feel like my body has definitely changed because of the consistency that I've had over the past year. But I share that I had a pretty big, what I thought was a crazy goal. So that is what I'm working towards. However, for the past 6 weeks, I feel like I haven't done my best as it relates to the commitment that I made to myself in terms of what that goal was. So one of the biggest things that I wanted to focus on was on nutrition. And while I started my PT sessions, I really haven't held myself very accountable when it comes to that. I feel like I have a ton of excuses every week, and my trainer is great. She, gives me jokingly a hard time here and there, but to a certain degree, or what I wanted to stress was that no one is going to want it more than you do. And no one is going to hold you more accountable than you will hold yourself accountable if you want it bad enough. So I'm at a crossroads in terms of determining, do I want this bad enough for me to really stick to this commitment? Do I want to continue it, to follow through, or do I want to quit? Not because it's not the right thing to do, or do I want to quit? Not because it's about quitting, right? Or giving up necessarily, but it's to reassess your goals and the why behind them. Is the why strong enough? So I feel like I need to do a little bit of more work. I definitely have a lot of sessions ahead. I just actually booked 12 more sessions, but I really need to figure out my why and my commitment. I feel like I still do, but I want to write it out. And maybe this is coming at a good time because I'm really starting to think about my 2023 goals and what is that going to look like. And I feel in the past couple of days I've gotten better at, logging my meals and just being very intentional. And I would say that has probably gone hand in hand with my budgeting. So I've become really intentional with my budgeting for the past, couple weeks or so, versus before I was willy-nilly with it. But I definitely become a lot more intentional with it. And I think hand in hand goes the intentionality behind my meals. And I was joking with Steven and I said, I'm dieting for the sake of my budget, but not really for anything else. So And yeah, and this is not about, dieting. Of course, do I want to lose weight? Absolutely. But I feel pretty comfortable in my body. But do I want to make improvements? And even one of my goals with my trainer, it hasn't really necessarily been about losing weight or anything like that right now. It actually has been focused on strength. So one of my biggest goals is to just do freestanding push-ups, because that has been an exercise that has always been a challenge for me. I've never been able to do a push-up, and I'm getting there. So I definitely see a lot of progress and the gain, but I definitely need to do some soul searching and figure out how I'm going to regroup myself, really clarify the why behind my goal so I can see it through, because no one's gonna want it more than I do. So what is it gonna take for me to be able to follow through with that goal? So honestly, I'm not at a point where I'm giving up on my goal. That's for sure. It's still way too early. We're gonna continue through it. But it has been a more of an eye-opening experience in terms of how clear do I really have to be with my goals in order for me to really make it a priority. Obviously, I was able to do it with my workouts. It's become second nature now. But what is it going to take for this one to stick? Which brings me to the second point that I wanted to share earlier, which is to work through the mundane. And it's when we're starting to build habits and build new behaviors, it gets to a point where it's definitely not as exciting anymore. Obviously, at the beginning, we're all very excited. It's new, it's a novelty when we're starting something new. But eventually that does tail off. It wears off sometimes rather quickly, depending on the situation. So one of the biggest things I need to remind myself is to work through the mundane. And that's maybe one of the issues that I've had with the previous topic that I was just talking about, is that once it becomes really mundane, I tend to give up. And I actually noticed that with like my morning habits. I was at a really good rhythm, and last week I took a day off. I think it was Thanksgiving morning. I took a day off from my habits. And then a day turned into 2, then it turned into 3 and 4. And next thing you know, a week has gone by, and I haven't really been as intentional with my morning habits as I was before. And as I think about where I have been, it was right at a point where it was starting to become really mundane, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And there could be two things, right? It could be something that perhaps is just not really what I should be doing in the morning with my time, or perhaps I need to work through that by pushing through it. So that's actually one of the things that I was able to successfully overcome early on with my workout routine, is that I did get to a point where it's like, do I really want to do this? And I felt like giving up altogether. But instead of giving up, I decided that I was just gonna push through, and no matter what, I was gonna work out. So that meant that there were going to be workouts that I wasn't gonna be proud of. There were gonna be workouts that I was just gonna feel like I was going through the motions. Workouts where I just showed up and, whatever. All of my workouts haven't been perfect. There have been days where I'm like, you know what, it feels like a waste of a workout, but it wasn't. It's not, because it's just a continuous working on your habit muscle, no pun intended, in order to overcome that inertia that it's surely to feed into our minds after a certain point. So I think those two things really go hand in hand, and what I really need to focus on when it comes to my nutrition goals, as well as my morning habits or PM habit goals, to make it more routine, right? We can all stick with it for a little while, But once we get the real measure of success is once we get to that point where we feel like giving up, is that we're just going to continue to work through it no matter what it looks like, because it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be pretty, or are we going to give up? In other news, when I was downstairs making my salad, I received this box. This was a nice surprise. I was not expecting this box. It's obviously from Erin Condren, the Mid-Century Circles Give It Away. And unfortunately, I can't share the contents. I don't think I can share the contents until the 14th. But as soon as I can, I will definitely share. But this was such a nice surprise, and I cannot wait to dive into these goodies, test them out, and share my thoughts with you all pretty soon. So I just wrapped up with work, so I'm getting ready to prepare dinner. We're gonna have some beef fajitas, and I'm making the steaks in the Ninja Foodie. We've had this for over a year now, and I love it. We use it for so many things, and it's super easy to use. It's very user friendly, and the food comes out really good. And we also make some really nice grilled pizzas with it, so I love it. Guys, so we went for a mall walk just to kind of get out of the house, stretch our legs. This is how my day has been looking like. I feel I still have a few things to do. I'm tired, but maybe I should push through. Maybe I'm gonna put the laundry away so I don't have to deal with that tomorrow. I guess I filmed the day in the life today, although who knows how it's gonna turn out. I feel like I was all over the place today. And maybe, I don't know what else I'm going to be able to, oh, we had dinner. I did the dishes. I'm probably going to finish my AM habits that I haven't finished yet from this morning, and maybe get ready for bed and maybe call it a night early. I do have an early workout tomorrow. So yeah. So with that, I think I'm going to close out the day in the life here. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me today for another day in the life. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And as always, friends, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.